Hello guys, here we are going to discuss about the framework, how we can create the framework, what are the component of a framework can add. So let me, as for our previous discussion, let me tell you like how we can create or what all could be the part of the framework. So your framework that we have is data driven framework, and we are using page object model as a design pattern. So you can see when I say page object model, we have these things like a page object package. So these dotted line will denote the packages. So what all packages we have? Page object, test suite, util, report, resources, and property. I'll explain each and everything why we have included all those things. Let's start with the um, new framework. So we'll create a new Maven project. Project work. We'll take some detail from our existing module, like the data or these things, and in all those. We'll just copy and paste in our project. This what we have. See, noted dependencies and all those. Now, as structure is there, so what are the component that we are going to create? In testing, we are going to create a new package, page object. Next package we test suite. Next package utils. So when I say page object, this will keep everything related to page. So let me take, so till now when is getting load, तो ये तीन packages हमारे पास, page object, test suite and util. What this page object will contain? It will contain the current page locator and method. That's it. Test suite will call it. Utils will be taking the util related to Java utils. So what is this? It means to say it will contain some thing like random number or compare two strings, contains string contains, or any other like hash map comparison. Next is like this is all in this. So next util could be the db util. Db util. It will contains data or method related to connect to db, get data from particular table. Third could be execute some query. db and return data in any object, whether it's hash map or anything list. So this is all about like what we can keep in utils. Sometimes people used to keep driver util, like driver need to be part of here. So we'll see in this page object, and this go to the website. So suppose this is the page that we need to automate. So what this page contains: locator and some method of this. So method could be enter name, locator is name. So let me create one more page, which is registration page. So I used to use this page PO because it will easy to identify whether it's a class or a page object. So this is what we have, and registration. Now we'll get our XPath of it. So for declaring the XPath, we'll use by, and what is this? Name. So I used to use prefix like txt name, and by dot XPath is, next is last name. This first name, I first name, last name, back, and get the XPath of this, paste. Next is anything like if you want to ready button, enter email, txt email. By using this prefix, we'll understand like this is a text box, or this is a button, or this is a radio button or something. So what prefix I used to use for a button, I use btn login, something like this. For a radio button, I used to use rdu. For drop down, I use ddl. So by looking at this prefix, I will understand whether it's a login, whether it's a text box, drop down, radio button, checkbox, or any label or anything. If I want to verify this label registration, then I will name it like LBL, something like this. Next part that I will use by LBL registration equal to by X path. Whatever locator you want to use, you can use this. So right now I'm using, default one that it is coming. You can update that part. So this is how we used to create the X path or locator. Now method. So what this page object used to tell us, like the method and the locator of this page will be part of that page object. Okay, now we need to create the method. Either you can create a common method to register and call everything, or you can create simple method like public void fill name. You can use that. So what all we can use? Now I need to get the driver. So for driver, I'll create a base class. Let me copy some code from my existing. It's all right. So we'll write something in before method and public void start, or you can say call it set. Write something. Okay, same goes with at the rate after method, we used to call it like, take a common name, public void tear down. Why tear down? Because it will closing each and everything, so we use driver dot close quit. Okay, declare here. So this is how I have created this. Now, as this is the class, now we'll use this class in our page object. Use this. For using this, we'll use inheritance and base class. Now base class, there we can write driver dot find elements by txt first name dot and keys and provide it. But we are not going to write these all things. We will be creating some methods. So this is the beauty of the framework, that you can write method for each and everything. So we'll create a method, public void click on, and we'll use this. Okay. Next method that we can create, public void enter details, something like that, for entering any data in element. Or next, as yes, public void is element displayed, we can use. So for, I mean, you guys know, like for clicking the element, what we need any element by locator. We'll pass the locator. Let me, now what we used to, driver dot find element locator dot click. This is what we need to do. Entering detail, what we need, what you remember, I created a video for entering anything, कहाँ और क्या, mean to say कहाँ मतलब इस जगह, क्या मतलब the value that we are going to enter. Okay, so use driver dot find element later dot, maybe I can, I mean, I am a little bit quick, you can reduce the speed to check everything. Locator dot send keys, and you can provide the parameter over here. Now for displaying element, which element we want to check, it is display. Okay, so this displayed element will return something, which we are going to boolean. It will return driver dot and element by locator dot is displayed. If you want to use any explicit weight, you can also write public void explicit weight, write something like smart explicit. Why this is smart? Because ask something, what use, what is the syntax of web driver weight, object of it equal to new driver weight time unit, and what all time you want to, time, that is like the parameter of it, long, say int time that we want to look. Okay, next is wait dot until acted conditions dot visibility of any element. If you are going to pick any element or click on locator element to be clickable by, then we have to pass the locator again by locate. This is how you can provide it verify. So this will wait. So right now we have created few things or few method. We are going to use this method in our framework. So every time if you are thinking that I need to create a method, just create in this common class. It will help us to manage the code, identify the code. Even you can write some Java talk, like you can write something like this method used to click on element, or for entering detail you can also write something like this this method used to enter values in the text box. So whenever you are going to use this, it will, you are mousing over, you will get these details, parameter what you need to pass or something. This Java dog used to help us. Command that we used to follow, write this and enter. So this is all about it. So as you can see, like we have created these methods. Click on an enter detail is element create. So you can write any method. If you need to mouse over any element, to select anything from the drop down, you can write something like public void select from drop down by visible text. What will be the parameter? The locator and the text string the value. This is how we have written it. Now we'll use the select class. Select equal to new select, and we pass the web element. What driver dot find element by locator. Now select dot select by visible text and the value. This is how we can create the method, and we can do not going to write anything like driver dot find element as we have written over here. In this manner we will be calling the method that is being used in base. Now as I need to fill something, is as I need to fill something over here, so what I can use, I will call my method. So I'll call it by, as I have inherited that, it means to say those method will be available. Okay, what enter details. As you can see, enter detail is the method that is written in the base class. See page object base class enter detail locator and value. What is the locator? This is the locator value that we can provide. Is Abhishek. Same goes with the last. Now we are need to copy this and change this. Fill name. Next method that you can write, public void fill email, and what we need, same thing, like enter detail txt email of abc@dot can use. So this is how you can write the method. Or if you have a, want to write a complete method like public void regis something like eat is tray and write all those things. This is up to you whether you want to create smaller method or you want to create a single method to perform that action. So this is all about the registration page. You will, I can right now I'm showing like how you can write. So you can write the text path and all of these elements in your page object. So page object, now you understand what is all about page object. So if I am moving on different page, if I am moving on different page, what you need to do, you need to create a page of that thing for web table or frame. Because I need to automate what I need to do to create a separate page. Means web table page add the locators methods of this page by using the existing base. That so this is how we have created our base page object base class and that particular registration. Now come back to the test suite. We'll create a class going to say registration test. I used to keep the prefix as test so that it will differentiate or it will easy to identify whether it's a test or page object. Yes. Now I need to start with test ng test and public void regist with valid. Next is now either you can create the object x that class which is registration page PO. You have imported that. Now if you write something like fill in name or email, or you have that complete registration method, that's it. That is what you need. So once, and if you need to write any assertion like verify this registration label is displayed, then for that purpose you need to go back to your page, create a method public void is registration label displayed. Why I'm writing is something like because it is something some action that it is going to, it will return boolean. We can write return and we have created a method is element displayed, pass the locator is LBL registration that we have already used. This is all about it, like how we can write. Now how we can use this assertion in our test. Let come back to our test registration. Now I am going to use testng assert dot assert true and boolean condition, or use any of them, boolean condition. So it is already taking this. You need to write or call that method. This is all about. Want to call simpler method like fill name, fill email. So this is how you can write your test cases. Write another test case. So your test case could be verify these things are available on the page. What you can do, obviously this text belongs to this page. Everything will be part of this page object page. Go here, hit enter, go back to our page, get the X path by label ebt by dot X path, and we'll put path over here and write public void boolean is footer element displayed. Call it return is element displayed lbl footer ebt something use. Now we need to use this test and all that is, what is that, footer element displayed. That's it. And if you want to pass, you want like I will pass the name what I want, then create, I mean pass some parameter string first name, string last name, things last name. Now want to provide the test cases. Here you can pass your first name, and this is how, or you want to pass the email ID over here, and also this is how you need to achieve or write the framework. Now the other part could be, if I want to keep my URL and other thing, and as of now we have kept use the URL, but this is not recommended. Every time if we want to use any, it need to be picked from some other file, because if I will start using this hard coded URL, if somebody want to update it, they have to go to that file and update it. But what if I am using a common file? That's why file into say config dot raw use URL equal to, this is how we can keep Now, how we can read it? Either we can write a method to read it over here, or we can create it class to read the data from the config. So that's why we can create a class read data, or you can call it big reader. Here you can write some code like click void read data. Need to pass the key prop t prop new properties prop dot load you need to pass the path of the property, path of this that input stream new stream file use the key and return something like that. You can write it will return the value of this. Now how we can configure it? Just get the object of it, the base class fig fig reader util obj equal to new config reader. This here we need to pass the obj dot read data, the key. What key? URL. That as it is giving exception because we have used file input here. This is class data it dot base down. This is how we can get the URL. Method is undefined. How we can get our part. So now we have page object, we have test, we have util. Next is, if I want to keep my report, then report folder, it will save all the execution report. If I want to write the logic of extent manager, right over here, you can also use logger utils, where which will print the log in the console. If you want to use any data, yes, that is very important. In uh, test resource, test data, test data is there in file, test data dot. System explorer, test data, let me refresh. So right now we have understand like what all component might have. Something like this. Mm, let me delete. As far as we have understand like component frameworks are, you want to explain your framework, like which frameworks you are using, you can say I'm using data driven framework and using Java client. Design pattern is page object model. And if they want to explain like what all components available in your framework, you can explain I have a page object package, a test suite package, which consists of this page object consists of all the pages, all the pages and their locator and methods. Test suite, test cases which calls the test page object. Next is, once test case got executed, if I want to read something from the file config dot proper, keep our dynamic data as user name, URL, password, other details like any number you want to keep or something, any data. Next is utils. What is this? It used to consist of Java utils, Java related methods. Next is what all Java? You can say like compare, contains, random. Next is DB utils, DB reader write related. Next is driver util. You can use it for initiation of the driver. Write logic to open different driver type. Also write driver in this driver util. Next is like yeah, this page object also contains a base class or base page, call it base, which consists before and after all common method of selenium, such as click, select, enter, verify, wait, mouse over, right in this class, and extends, extend the same base class, that you can tell. Once you have the utils, now fifth point is report. You used to save your report. Sixth point is logger. 7 is test data in resource folder. What all test data we used to keep? Excel files, XML files data, .json files, we can keep it here. This is the simple explanation of the framework that you need to. Apart from that, there are some listener related things. We have to write everything that is related to some action or some common thing used to write in util, because the main focus of automation framework is to automate. And what are the important part of that? Page object and su. Once test case is completed, we have created the locator and test cases. Now how you can share the report, then these other thing will come, like report to save, logger to get the logging, test data to pick it from the different files. This is how you can explain the page object model. This is all about it. And the important part is like the beauty thing or beautiful thing in this framework is like, you, if you want to write anything, or if you want to use this framework for some xyz website, or want to automate, you can directly use that. Only thing that you need to change is the x method. Obviously is there, you change the method. You're working on Gmail, obviously what will change? Username, password, and login button. Somewhere is login. You created already method for this. You need to create the method you can use directly. So the, and everything is dynamic in this frame. You think like I need to create a method for implicit bit, you can. You think like you need to write a method for JavaScript, you want to enter thing JavaScript, you can write method and use it anywhere in the framework. This is all about this page object model design pattern with data driven framework. If you have any confusion, let me know. I will share the same framework with you. Thank you. So let me summarize each and everything. So right now what we have in our framework is like page object. One package is page object, one package is test suite. So this page object will contain all the pages and their locator and method. This test suite will contains test cases which call the pages page object class. Next is config property. We have used config property because if I want to read any data from the property file that is dynamic data, like my base URL, username, password. So what all I can keep in here? Dynamic data like username, URL, password, other details, or any number you want to like. Suppose you want to add 20 records or 20 iteration. So that is a fix. Or you want to execute test case 5 times. So I mean 5, 4, 3, any times you can pass it. Next is utils. This util used to contain Java util. This Java util, Java related method such as compare contains or random generation of string. DB util will contain DB related. Driver util will contains how we can initialize the driver. You can also include the code, the different types of browser that we can initialize. And apart from that, we can also include in page object is a base page or base class which contains all the common methods such as before and after, all common method of selenium like click, select, enter, verify, wait, or mouse over. So I mean when we write the base class, then obviously we are extending this base class in different pages or our test class. So you can write by using extend base class. Next is the report for getting your report, logger for logging in console, test data in resource file or folder, like reading Excel or all the Excel files, XML file, JSON files that you can write. So this is all about our basic understanding of framework that you can explain in your interview. I have and you can say like I have data driven framework which is using Java client, and design pattern that I'm following is page object model. If interviewer want to know about the internal structure, what all folder and things you are using, then you can explain in this way. So this will give them insight about like you know each and every detail of your framework. You have a working knowledge of that framework. So this is all about the page object model or how we can create our framework.